Okay, I've decided that I wasn't able to sleep very well. So I decided to come here and make this video. And this video is going to be about something that I think I can make a positive contribution to. I was thinking you can ask me any questions about relationship and also about how to approach women and things like that, because I have a feeling both men and women are a little bit struggling how they should handle that. I mean, I'm not I'm not saying that I'm expert or I'm good at it, but I can just give you advice on what I have seen so far and how you can improve it, because sometimes I see certain guys try to approach women and they do certain things, and I understand where does it come from and I understand their intentions, but it doesn't look as good as you think it does. So I think I can be a little bit helpful there. So I'm going through a few notes that I have. And then after that, if you have any questions, you can actually ask me that. And I'm going to put a Q&A here. Let me see if I can do that. So I wouldn't need to explain it to whomever joined the chat. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to start with the first one. One of the things that I noticed that guys do that doesn't look very good when you're approaching a woman for the first time is that when you're having a conversation with a woman and then with a girl that you like, and then one of the things that you do is that when they start responding to your questions, or when you continue having conversation for a while, and then after that you just completely ignore all of that conversation and you start talking about, oh, you look so beautiful, or you're asking if they're single or not. And those are the worst thing that you can do. Okay, if you're trying to if you're trying to have a good impression on a woman, the first thing that you're supposed to do is to actually listen to them. Okay, instead of, I understand that you probably heard that it's very good to compliment women on the way that they look, or to compliment them about their appearances or about how good they speak, but that is not the intention. When you're having a conversation about something, your responses have to correlate to what they asked you, not something completely irrelevant, because you're just saying that you don't really care. That's very true. Yep. Yes. So because when you're having, I understand that your intention is to be in a relationship with women, but you can't just show it right away, okay? Because when somebody's talking to you about something and you completely ignore it and say whatever you want, you're just saying, I don't care who you are, I don't care what you are, I only care about what I want and what I can get from here. And then if you are just approaching a woman that you don't know and you say, hey, are you single or not? That is the worst thing ever. And actually, you know what? In all of the chats that I have in my life, I have put that as a blocked word. Anybody who comes here and say, you're married, or are you single, are you married, do you have a boyfriend, it is immediately getting blocked because it is just very disrespectful and also very annoying. That is one of the things that I noticed. And then also, if you have any other questions, but there were other things that I wanted to touch on here. Um, Oh, and then about guys expressing their feelings. One of the things that I noticed about guys is that they are always trying to show that they are very strong and they are unfazed by whatever happened. And I don't think there is any woman ever that likes that. And I think you kind of, I mean, I don't mean to like cry about everything, but a little bit of vulnerability is good. And sometimes, on the other hand, guys, when they feel insecure, they try to drag the woman down with them. So what they do is that instead of, sometimes when you're feeling insecure in front of the woman, instead of just trying to praise and say, oh, that's amazing, I wish I could do that, which is something that women rarely hear from a man unless that man is really secure in who they are. It is very obvious that you're insecure when you're doing that. And then it is a very, and be sure that after that you're not going to have any relationship with that woman. So anytime that you decided to drag a woman down because you felt insecure and you wanted to feel more confident to approach her and you decided to drag her down, that's it, that's the end of it. You're not gonna be with her ever because you showed how insecure you are. And sometimes you feel like um, your intentions are not obvious, but let me be very clear to you, your intentions are always very obvious. So if you're trying to lose a woman, try to just drag them down. And then let me see. And then another thing is about how much you should share. Well, first of all, these are all dependent on women, but generally from the conversation that I have with my friends, and also things that I see firsthand, is that you have to have a balance, and it depends in which level of the relationship we're talking about. Like at the very beginning, if you're just seeing a woman on the street, first of all, let me tell you this: if you're seeing a woman on the street and you like her, don't try to go and strike up a conversation, okay? Because they already know your intention. The best thing, in my opinion, is that if you're seeing someone on the street and you really like them, what you can do, you can just very directly say what you want, but be very respectful and be ready for rejection, because women do make their decisions quite quickly, okay? It is not like you can go to them, if you're on the street, you can go to them and start talking to them for a while and then you can change their mind. No, as soon as you're walking up to them and you're trying to have a conversation with them, they know what's up and they know your intentions, because you're just literally a stranger on the street approaching them, so they know what's up, what's happening, okay? So if you're trying to be like sneaky and try to just be funny and things like that, that I see a lot of coaches, relationship coaches say, it's, in my opinion, completely wrong. And it's just very obvious that you're trying to where's it called, persuade that woman, and they don't like it. So if you see somebody on the street, just be very respectful and very straightforward. Say that if they want to have your number, or if you're interested in, if if this can go any further, and be open to rejection, okay? Because like you, every woman that comes to you and say they like you, you're not interested. Same goes for the woman. You have to be open to the rejection, okay? So don't try to play games. Just be open. And that is another one. And oh, we were talking about how much do you have to share. So that is for the first approach. And then when we are talking about further on in relationship, and you're in a relationship for a while, if you have established that both of you like each other, women like men who can open up, who can talk about their insecurities, who are who are able to say, for example, which part of their life they have failed, which part of their life they're trying to improve. So those are some things that women are very interested in. But because in most cases women try to rely on men as well, don't show up as in too needy. By that I mean sometimes you're trying to uh, act like you're opening up, but you do it too much, and then that is not good either. So you want to have that balance. Just try to be yourself. Honestly, for how long can you play it, you know? If you be yourself, if you're a match, you will be with that person. If not, you won't be. I think most of the problems basically come up when guys are trying to be somebody else who they are not. And that is very irritating. And honestly, there is a reason why actors get paid like millions of dollars. It's just because not everybody can be an actor, and you're getting caught very early on. And it's just not a good look. Whenever something is not real, it's just not a good look. About mixed signals. Okay, so mixed signals, there are two things that you have to keep in mind. First of all, sometimes when somebody's sending you mixed signals, that is play hard to get, which is not a good thing. I mean, I'm not sure if it's a good idea to go after a woman who tries to play hard to get, but generally for mixed signals, there are two things. One is play hard to get, one is they're not interested. Okay, so for both of those situations, I would say the best thing to do is to keep distance, and then if the woman get in touch with you afterward, that means that it was play hard to get, and then you can go a little bit further. Don't push too much of the boundary, but like I mean, generally my first advice is that just don't go after women who want to play hard to get. Just ignore them completely. But if you do, just push a little bit further, and then after that back off, so they would come after you. Because if it is only you who keep going after them, then that is going to be a turn off as well. But generally, in my opinion, don't play games, because for how long do you want to play a game? And also there's going to be hard feelings at the beginning of the relationship if you want to start it with like playing games or pretending, because that is something that you cannot keep up, and those are not going to be interesting relationship. And then another one, how to approach women without seeming creepy. It's again the same thing. If you're seeing someone on the street, you want to be very straightforward with your intention and be very what is that called, respectful. And then how to balance being confident. This is all, being confident and not being confident. Whenever you're and trying to approach somebody new, it is okay to have a little bit of anxiety. So don't be worried about showing it. when you're approaching a woman. It's okay to not be fully confident, but if you're trying to fake it, again, it's going to show up and it's not going to look good. It's going to be a turn off. Playing games, as in be showing that you're somebody else, it's going to be a huge turn off for women. That's 100%. What to do when arguments happen? Oh, okay. So this is actually a very good question. So, what to do during arguments? First of all, I noticed that guys have the problem with this because they say, okay, so whenever I go after the woman and I'm trying to ask them what's wrong and I'm trying to solve the problem, they say, oh, it's nothing, everything is okay. But then after I go away, they get angry. And so that is actually a tricky situation because at that point of time, at that exact moment, the girl does not feel good. Okay, so and the thing about it is that they don't want you to feel good at that moment either. Unfortunately, that is the situation there. So it all depends on you. If you really like that woman and she's not feeling very good at that moment, and at the same time, she doesn't want you to feel good at that woman. So at that moment, so it's a good idea to just try to be there and listen. And if they started to say, oh no, you don't understand, you should agree with them, like whatever they say right now at this point of time. It's not time to like resolve the issue. It's just to let them vent about whatever problem that they have. And yeah, it's going to be a little bit tough. They're probably going to probably be angry at you without any reason, things like that. It just depends on how much you can take it. And you don't have to take it at all because you are your own person. Okay, you can just walk away. But if that is a woman that you really care about and they happen to have this behavior that they want you to suffer when they are suffering, so it would be great if you just sit with them and let them go through it and listen to them and don't try to solve problem. As I think most of the people, most of the relationship coaches explain that to you. And then how to apologize in a way that feels genuine. Okay, so if you just had an argument and you're trying to apologize right away, there are still those hard feelings. They might accept your apology, but emotionally, it won't take effect right away. So it's all about being patient and not reacting. And when I'm talking about all of these, please keep in mind it's the few common hobbies, dreams. Otherwise, the other person only focuses on um, advancing their own future. And that's very true. Yeah, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. That is very true. Okay, many men assumes looks or money are the top factors and are scared and to find out otherwise. Okay, so another thing that is very important is that when you're going after, I mean, this is not a general thing. You kind of have to figure it out. If you don't, one of the things that guys do is that they lie at the beginning of the relationship, and then after that they hope that it would just the woman would get used to it and everything would turn out to be fine. Okay, but even if that woman that you approached and you pretended to be somebody else was okay with who you actually are, if you lie to them at the beginning and then they figure it out later, they will leave you, even if they were okay with who you actually are. And the reason for that is that you lied. Okay? It's not because of who you are, but it's because you lied. You pretended to be somebody else. Do you care about height, body type as much as guys think you do? I personally don't think women think about height and body. I think women mostly are interested in the way that a guy behave and listens. I think those are most important, but again, it all depends on the woman. But I think the majority of women are mostly interested in men that can listen and uh, be themselves. Like mostly they go after the personality rather than the way that guys look. Because that's for a majority of the women, but again, not for 100% of the women. Everything unless I confront her. Yeah. So here's the thing. Actually, um, one of the things is that um, I am talking about these advices, and you just have to do it if you are interested in a woman. If you're not interested in a woman, you don't have to deal with anything, okay? You're not required to care about anything about a woman. These are only if you are interested and if you want to be with them. Even if the other person didn't do anything wrong, but you're not happy in a relationship, I think you shouldn't continue that relationship because there are so many people out there that you can be happy with. So it's just a waste of time for you and for the other side to stay in a relationship that you're not interested in. Unless you have built a life and have a family or have kids, then there are more things to consider. You try to work on it and you try to fix the situation. But other than that, I don't see why you should stay in a relationship that you're not happy. Uh, yeah, I think agreed. I tolerated in a relationship because I was scared that she wouldn't be able to handle herself without me. I just Yeah, that's a very good idea. Oh, and also, and yeah, so women do understand every small things that you do for them, and it actually is a big deal. So, for example, if you just randomly come back from work, or if you bring a flower or something like that that they are not expected, even if it's a very small thing, just the fact that you thought about them, or not even a flower or a gift, or just the unexpected text, or something like that, those are all going to be something that women do really appreciate. But again, you always have to keep in mind like what point of relationship you are in at. So for example, um if you're not in a relation, these are all the advices that I gave for people who are already in a relationship. If you're not in a relationship, all of these are going to have actually negative effects. If you're not in a relationship with a woman and you just randomly buy him a flower, there is a good chance that there is going to be a negative reaction if you haven't established that there is a feeling between you two. Okay, because just imagine you are interested in somebody else, or you have your own life, and just a random girl come up and gives you something that puts you in a situation that you kind of have to give something back, or at least this is how women think of it. When you're giving them flower or something outside of a relationship, it feels like you are asking them to give something back, okay? And that is not something that most women would enjoy. But if you're in a relationship and you already established that you guys like each other, then those small gestures like flowers or unexpected text and all of these have enormous positive effect, rather than just getting, I don't know, birthday presents. And I mean, of course, it's a good idea to do things like that too, but unexpected things are going to be very much appreciated. People really, and women really do like that. Let me see. Um, Okay, and then another question is, what's the first thing you actually noticed about a guy? The first thing that generally I think most of the women notice about a guy is that how they treat people around them, and yeah, their behavior in general. If you try to act like you're very cool, or you try to act too masculine, I don't think that is something that most women are interested about. Especially, you just look like a kid. But if you're like a gentleman, I think that is something that most women appreciate more than you being so, I don't know, um, I don't know, don't be a gentleman. Do pickup lines ever work, or do they always sound cheesy? Pickup lines don't work. Don't do that. It's just so, in my opinion, and I think most of the women have the same opinion as I do. Pickup lines are just very cheesy and are very cheap. Don't do it. Just be straightforward with what you want. Um, And then another question here is, how important is height really? That is completely dependent on a woman. It is actually not a general, it's not something that you have a general answer for. Some women actually prefer guys who are shorter than them. Might be surprising, but that is true. Um, Okay, what's something men commonly say that sounds unattractive without realizing it? And one of the things that is very unattractive is that when they start constantly talk about themselves, like how good they are, and it's gonna be it has to be something that you prove through your actions. Okay, if you just constantly say, oh yeah, I'm so good at this, or I treat this person like this, or I did this the best way possible, all of these are so cringy, and I don't think anybody is actually interested in hearing it. But if you're able to prove it, if you're able to just show it in your action, that I think is something that is more interesting. So don't try to talk so much about yourself and who you are, but yeah, don't talk a lot about yourself. And I don't think this is only for men. For women is the same thing. If you continuously say, I'm this amazing person, everybody will move away. Okay, this is a very good question too. Do you want us to always fix your problems or just listen? Majority of time, this has been answered many times. Majority of the time, women want somebody who is able to just listen. So, but what I suggest in majority of cases, not gonna work all the time. When they are complaining about it, it's a good idea to sit there and listen, and then from the information that you figured out, if it is something that you would be able to fix it for them, that would be something that they would really, really appreciate it. But it is not something that you're supposed to do. I'm just saying, if you're really in love with someone and you want to really prove your love to them, that is something that you can consider. That at the time that they are complaining about it, you can just sit there and listen, and then after they calm down, then you try to solve the problem with them or for them. But at the moment, I think it's just a good idea to try to find as much um, ever considered or launched a startup? No. Have you? Okay, this is another interesting question. It says, do you secretly test guys, like waiting to see how they'll react? Yes, women do that that's very good. Women do, what was the question? Do you secretly test guys, like waiting to see how they'll react? Yes, they do that quite frequently, but they do it to the guys that they like. Okay, these are all the things that is happening for a woman who do have a crush on you or in a real relationship with you, not a woman that you care about. Does it bother you if a guy doesn't make the first move? um Actually, you know what it is for most women when you're not making the first move. um if you don't, okay, if you're seeing somebody on the street, it's just good to, and there's no chance of seeing them ever again, and if you really interested in them, you can just go forward and very respectfully talk to them about it. But if it is a person that you see frequently, like for example, if you're in the same school, or I mean, preferably, we probably don't want to do that in the workplace, but if it is somewhere that you're seeing them quite frequently, I think the best thing is to just keep it, because once, if it is somebody who you see frequently, once you make that first move, it's going to be awkward from then onward. So I think the rule of thumb is, if you're not gonna see that person ever again, like for example, if it's on the street thing, you just very respectfully go forward and introduce yourself and see if they're interested, and be open to rejection. And but if you are seeing that person quite frequently, it's not a good idea to go straight forward and talk about your intentions. But the best idea is to test the water. I mean, and by test the water, I mean that and try to look at their reactions when you're trying to be slightly flirty. If they do not, if they do not accept it, if they don't like your approaches, do not continue. Stop. And just forget about it. If they want it, they would respond to your approaches. But if they don't, that means they're not interested. And then, how much does it matter if I don't have everything figured out yet? Thing figured out yet? Okay, it is actually very okay for people to not figure out everything at the beginning, because you're not supposed to know everything from the beginning, because if you're going in a relationship, and it's actually a red flag if you're just entering a relationship and you just know exactly where you want this relationship to go, that is actually a red flag. That means the other person is just so needy, or just wanted to find somebody to settle down. It's always good to take it slow and figure out if you guys are a match or not. And do you get turned off if a guy admits he's nervous or insecure? It is much better to say that you're nervous or insecure than you act cocky. That is, if you're just trying to pretend that you have so much confidence and you don't, that is much more worse than showing your insecurity or nervousness. yeah, I think that's that for tonight. And then if there was any other questions, you can just leave it under this, and then I would probably make a video about it. But have a good night.